Okay. Yeah. So to provide suitable environment for operation and for process. So this can be a social, that means not discriminatory, and calm and non-confrontational. So these also we need to take consideration. Then psychological, stress reducing, burnout prevention, emotionally protecting. So this also need to psychological because the thing is people, everybody emotional. So some can take it stress, some cannot take it stress. So we need to see what is the balance to work on this. So I mean for to carry out the work. So this also need to take a consideration because this one human will emotional cannot take it, then it affecting the your QMS and UMS, right? So most is based on all other human, right? So also need to psychologically you need to consider. Then your physical wise, your temperature, heat, humidity, light, airflow, hygiene, and noise. So these also working in the office environment. Let's say you need to have aircon, you need to have a lighting, so all those things. So this one is poor. So your productivity and efficiency also is affecting, right? So this also the we need to take it into consideration of the resources for the physical condition also need to monitor. Okay, monitoring and measurement of the resources. The organization shall retain documented information as evidence of the fitness for the purpose of monitoring and measurement, like site inspection checklist, maintenance record, all those things. Then you need to measurement traceability or record for measuring equipment is affect QMS performance. So it can be calibrated and verified at the specific interval. We can go for against measurement standards. I can check the status and validity of the measurements. How are we going to measure in all? So one QMS normally they say is a CTS, CTQ. That means critical to quality. So this normally the quality based on the product spec, they will measure. Let's say I'm producing some of the product, so they have a specification must be set. That means upper spec or lower spec. Then what is the control line? And when you produce, because we cannot, when you make a product, cannot be 100% achieve the your spec. So we need to mention some of the deviations, tolerance. So this also can be one of the methods need to consider to take in account to go. Okay, these are the organization knowledge. The organization shall determine the knowledge necessary for the operation. When addressing changing the needs and trends, the organization shall consider its current knowledge and how to assess any necessary additional knowledge and record updates. The organization knowledge is a knowledge specific to the organization, generally gained by the experience as well. So this also then be to determine and maintain the document as well. So it can be organization, I mean your procedures, that means you can be what is methods and techniques, right? So these are things the organization can determine what are document need to keep it, make it documented. And because you let's say this organization knowledge, one person leave up, resign and go, so another person come. The basic key important documents, the procedures, they make it, then they can able to read through, then they can follow. Because human know everything can memorize one. So based on our documentations. So this every company, but this is a new recommend for the ISO 2000 after 2015. So this one of thing. Either is a QMS and others as well. So you need to maintain. So this is critical for the company. Then we can follow accordingly. Okay, so the organization knowledge can be internal sources. Example, intellectual properties. Your knowledge came from the form of experience, a lesson learned form of failures, or successful projects. So these can be internal sources. External sources, you have standards, your academia, conference, gathering and knowledge from customers and external providers. So those things, this is the external sources. Because same, because when you do the product, you must have vendors. right? So these also you must have a keep details, knowledge, the contract, those things. But some you not keep it maintain. Then if we suddenly if any new project come, anything existing also, then we need to. It's critical to the your effectiveness of the QMS. So this one of the new recommends. So we need to maintain it. Okay, you go for EMS. So the organization shall determine and provide necessary resources in timely manner for establishing a EMS and implementing a EMS and maintaining a EMS and enhance performance of EMS. So these are the things we need to put up also to determine. Okay, then competency. Organizations shall determine and evaluate the competency of the personnel, right? This can be any job. Let's say go, you start from admin, marketing and sales, you go for operation, let's say operation technician, supervisor, engineers. So you need to spec out which, what's the knowledge, I mean the education level and how many years of experience, those things, right? You need to determine as well. So this one is varies, depends on the products and depends on the company. Price is what was how the spec and series of your products and services. So this we need to determine. Ensure that these persons are competent on the basis of appropriate education, training, and experience. That's why. So competency is based on the skills and knowledge. So your training and experience. You determine the training needs associated with the environmental aspects and its EMS of those things. Because some environmental, you're monitoring those things, there's separate courses, like environmental engineering, those things. So there's a specialist in this particular, especially for chemical product, those things. They have a chemical engineering, even they have environmental science. So mostly they study based on this. So sometimes if it's a chemical product, even your health, drugs, those things, so must have engaged the people who have a related knowledge for your products and service. So that's also need to take. You take action to occur necessary competency and evaluate the effectiveness of the action taken. So this also, because some you cannot get all, you want to, you can train your own staff, maybe give them promotion, I mean, enhance the knowledge, enhance the skill. So also can be, we can make it. So examples, training, a reassignment of the currently employed person. Because some other guys, okay, so because not only your knowledge, I mean, is important, but you need to take out, to consider your culture, your habit and attitude. Because some, they can give, I mean, the way of working. So we can select, we can train the guy, I mean, go upgrade themselves. No, this will be help to the company, maintain and sustain the competency of the company. We can go for hiring and contracting of a competent person. So some they go for straight away, who have a competent, then they will hire it. That means we say the right people for the right job at the right time with the right price. So this also it will be considered for you to effective of QMS or EMS. So awareness. So everyone shall aware of policy. Either can be a quality policy, environmental and safety policy. Then what is objective? So everyone aware of it, because this only they may, without knowing where you are going, you cannot go anywhere. So you need to achieve your target. That means how long I want to go, how long, how soon I need to reach the place. So this I think must know, must aware of everyone in the organization, must know. Then the contribution to the QMS, right? So how effectively they can contribute the efforts. The implication of non-conforming with the management system recommend. So this also need to take note. Okay, the awareness under 7.3, organizations shall ensure the person doing the work under organization control are aware of environmental policy, your significant environmental aspects, and related to actual or potential environmental impacts associated with their work. Their contribution to the effectiveness of the EMS, including benefit of enhanced environmental performance. The implication of not conforming with the EMS recommend, including not fulfilling the organization and compliance obligations. So this also make awareness to the peoples. So that's why if you do good, so how are you going to benefit to the company systems? Or if let's say you're not performing well, so how are you going to affect the systems and products and services? So this also make them known. So make awareness of that. Then your communication. The organization shall determine internal and external communication relevant to the QMS, including what it will communicate, when to communicate, and whom to communicate, and how to communicate. You see, that's why I say it's a 1H and a 5W. So it will apply for most of the place, right? For EMS, communications shall take into account compliance obligation and ensure that environmental information communicated is consistent with the information generated is reliable. Because some, the communication part, who will normally, okay, there's an internal communication. Internal, they mean among the staffs, but external, some of the item may be authority asking. So you must aware of it because some you do make a false report. So this later will get a company will get a fine, admin charges. So the mean especially report to authorities and report to medias must be cannot anyhow going to report to them. So that mean also not everyone will report. So they will the top management, either general manager, director or project manager. You have to communicate to them. Okay, in general, documented information. So what is a documented information? The documented information by the recommend and determined by the organization as being necessary for the effectiveness of the management system. The organization shall take into consideration of the size of the organization, its type of activities, process, products, and services. Then the complexity of the process and the interaction and competence of the persons. The need to demonstrate fulfillment of its compliance obligations, EMS, right? This is the thing you need to maintain the documentations, documented informations. So the documented information can be training records, checklists, any preventive maintenance reports, so all those things. So this in order to maintain your QMS and EMS. Okay, when creating and updating, so when you're creating and updating documented information, the organization shall ensure the appropriate identification. That means the description, example, title, your date, author, and reference numbers. So because you may change when the times go up, maybe we can review any new process. So how are you going to control the documentation, updating all? So you must give the reference number, right? Maybe the version number you need to give also. Then you need to give a format like example language, in what language, and what is the software version, graphics, and media like paper or electronics. So how are you going to maintain? So this also need to be they took into consideration. Then the review and approval of suitability and adequacy. So this also important because some process we carry out along the way, but review there's a you never update, make communicated to the people. Maybe they're not aware, so they carry out the wrong products. Then there's a lot of rejection. Then you're going to waste the time, your money, a lot of things, right? So that's why the documented information is very important to achieve effective implementation of the QMS and EMS. This information shall be controlled to ensure it's available and suitable for the use where and when it is needed. Right? It is adequately protected from loss of confidentiality, improper use, or loss of integrity. Right? These also take note because some information the company maybe have a secret of the business. So some they're not disclosed to everyone. Let's say especially some Japanese company, they won't like in manufacturing chemical, those things they won't list to all the all the personnel. So there's some let's say scientists or maybe key guys only they are disclosed to them, right? So these are the secret of those things will be there. Your documented information of external origin determined by the organization to the necessary for the planning and operation shall be identified as appropriate and be controlled, right? So these also need to be controlled. The documented information retained as evidence of the conformity, right? So this also one of the things to recommend. Okay, how are you going to control the documented information, right? So you look at the flow chart. So the first thing is new release. Then when you new release, review by authority or team. Then next one. So is it acceptable? Gives yes. We review by approving authority. Okay. Then if it is approved, it is approved. Yes. Make a copies and distribution. Right. This is a process flow. If let's say it's not acceptable, then you would create a come to the end. Let me straight away review come, then you can go. It's not acceptable, then come to the end. Then if it's acceptable, then go for this process. So that means the control of documented information, the organization shall address the following activities as applicable. Distribution, access, retrieval and use. Then storage and preservation, including preservation of the legibility and control of the changes, right? Then the retention and disposition. So these are things because there's a documentation, some of things need to keep. They say yes, maybe some they keep minimum 3 years, maybe they keep for 5 years because this is ongoing process. If some product you deliver, maybe your customer may not use immediately. Maybe the process maybe after 6 months or 1 year later. But when the time they're going to use, they might have some problems. Maybe the spec not met. Then they will come back to the manufacturer. Then they will check. So which product? Then if let's say you don't have any documentation to show them, so this also one of the it's very critical to identify. But that's why any manufacturing company they will have to maintain the QMS system. So this will be capture everything when you manufacture, where you manufacture, right? To all those things. So that's why this ISO is very important. So there's a trust and trademark. So how you going to be? It's a branding, right? So this is the information control of a documented information is very important to the organizations. Okay, so next operation. So operation for 9,000. So far, okay, everyone. Am I too fast or too slow?
Okay.
Okay, just
Can I? You anything you can raise out
sure.
question, then we can
Okay.
clarify. No issue. Okay, so next move on to operational planning and control and requirements of the products and services. And we go for design and development of products and services. Then we go for control of externally provided processes, products and services. Then we talk about production, service provisions. We go for release of products and services. And we have control of non-conforming outputs. So those things. Okay, so operational planning and control. So number one is determine requirements of the products and service. So how we know the requirements of products and services? This one based on the customer requirement, right? What's the product need, what the spec need, all those things. Okay, once you determine these, then after that, you go for the criteria for the processes. So you need to address what are the outsourcing process. Is it going to be everything carried by you? I mean, the internally, or you need to outsource us? Because not all the process can carry out by the internal. Some need to, like say, monitoring, like laboratory, checking outsources, all those things is done by outsources. Then how are you going to deal with them? Based on the process criteria and you needed for the timeline, those things. Okay, so the next thing we go for determine resources needed. So what are the resources needed? So you see all the procedures so far, you see one, everything you see, you remember the concept fire method. But when I do any process, what I need to have? I need to have a man. I need to have a material. I need to have a machine. I need to have a method. I need to have a medium. So this all is will come. So same, determine what resources you need, right? Based on that. So if it's everything is in place, okay, identify ready, then you have to implementing the controls. So you follow accordingly. Then if it's okay, then you follow the documented informations records. So you follow accordingly. That's why plan, do, check, act. Then the concept is write and do. Whatever you want to do, you must have a written procedure. Then you carry out accordingly. Okay, so this 8.1 is a plan and develop the sequence of the process and sub-process needed for the product realization. Then at point 2 is determine the following as appropriate. Quality objectives, what is the process and documentations, and what are the resources and what are the facility needed for the process, and verification, validation, monitoring, measurements, inspections, test activities, and criteria for the test acceptance. Then what are the document records? These are things need to be take note of that. Your planning output record to be documented in the suitable forms. Also, so how we're going to plan what are things be done also need to be in the suitable form. Make sure the output is suitable and organizations shall control and review the consequences. So output is suitable. So you need to, if let's say something wrongly product, so what are you going to do? So how are you going to stop? If let's say they reach the customer place, how are you going to convince them? How are you going to rework? So all those things need to aware of it and need to make it available. Okay, recommends of the products and services. So this one is for customer communication and determine recommend related to the products and service and review the recommends related to products and service and changes to the recommend of products and service. So this also need to be the process flow because you are manufacturing a product for others. So if any changes can be done accordingly. Okay, customer communication. So communication with the customer include providing information relating to the products and services, and you need to handling inquiries, contracts and orders, including changes. Then obtaining customer feedback relating to the products and services, including customer complaints. You're handling and controlling the customer properties. Establishing specific recommend for contingency actions when relevant. I mean objective evidence, your organization website, your agreement details, quotation, catalogs, all etc. So this is important because when you go to anything, tell them you must have a written agreement because when you verbally talk to them, maybe sometimes they turn back. I never say this. It's not meaning to what I say. So there's a lot of conflict will be there. So that's why if anything go, if any contract, that's why I say you must written procedure. You cannot be leave it verbally. But if somehow we verbally, some I think they record also because some know by any kind of evidence is a audio video recording also some other thing we can make use of it. So because now all digitalized, right? So even to make it say now also a Zoom recording. So anything evidence we can check on this, right? So can be a documented information. Okay, determine, recommend related to the products and service. The organization shall ensure the recommend and services are defined, including applicable statutory and regulatory recommends. Your organization consideration. Ensure that organization can meet the claims for the products and services it offers. The same. So some products you're selling out. So you need to see the what is the statutory and regulatory recommends. So based on the recommend, you need to manufacture accordingly. Okay, so the review recommends related to the products and services. Shall review the recommend which include recommend specified by the customer. So that means what's your deadline, what is your delivery service, packaging, what type of packaging they needed, your customer also need to review. Then recommend implied by the customer. That means good customer services, prompt reply. So these are things will be to be take note and recommend specified by the organization. So what is a warranty? Let's say buy the product, what is a warranty and guarantee? So these are things also to be reviewed and statutory, regulatory recommend applicable, all those things. Then we go for contract on order recommends differing from the previous. So that means when times go up, so you need to check it out. Is it relevant or any changes need to be made? then we can make accordingly. Okay, changes to the recommend of products and service. The organization shall ensure the relevant document information is amended. That means your manual, procedures, content of a contract and agreement. So those things you need to amend. So it's not a one time I do, so go for it. So it's keep on, it's ongoing. Let's say any changes, now no COVID coming. So what are the control measures for your COVID? So how are you going to affect your processes, right? Like manufacturing process or services. So you need to revise your manual and procedures accordingly. Then only you can able to get to meet your requirement. Also, the relevant person, that means staff, customers, suppliers, are made aware of changes recommend. So this also is important. This can be done through face-to-face meeting. I can do emails or verbal communications. So that means the effective communication is very important to the QMS and EMS, because some have a different view, different view they can understand or maybe can carry out. So this make it clear, clear and concise communication to be made among the organization, internal employees. Okay, next is the design and development of products and services. This I think mostly not all the organization, except the design company. Let's say they want a new product, those things, it will applicable. So other than that, most of the organization, it is not applicable. But even though there was a classes, planning, design and planning, development inputs and design and development controls and outputs and changes. So in general, the organization shall establish, implement and maintain design and development process that is appropriate to ensure the subsequent provision of the products and services. Same thing, some of the bottles, those things, right? So there's a size. I think this is a pen nipple, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yep. So you need to see the size and styles difference. Even this, I think some kind of the box. These are the items. So you need to have a, when you do a design, you must maintain the development process. Okay, in determining the stages and controls for the design and development planning, the organization shall consider the nature, duration, complexity of the design and development activities. So this can be, because your product to product may vary, right? So you must be check what are the critical and what is the complexity needed for that. So you need to consider as well. Then the record process stages, including applicable design and development reviews. So you need to, by along the way, you need to monitor the process as well. The record design and development verification and validation activities. Also, you need to have your responsibility and authorities involved in the process. Then you need to see internal, external resources needed. So for your design process. So need to the control interface between person involved in the process, a need for the involvement of the customers, users in the process. Then the recommend of subsequent provision of products and services. You need to check for the level of control expected for the process by customers and other relevant interested parties. Also need to consider. Then you have a documented information needed to demonstrate the design and development requirements have been met. So also must be maintain the documented information. Your input. So the input you are to essential for the specific type of products and services to be designed and developed. The organization shall consider the functional and performance requirements. Then information derived from the previous similar design or development activities. Because some your new products sourcing, you can check it out. So these are the inputs what are going to be, all must be documented information. So especially this one, previously I work in the chemical manufacturing is R&D process. I was working as R&D technician. So we do a lot of trials we do. So all the batch records, how what we made, everything you make it a record. Then when they will evaluate all the inputs. So when I prepare, let's say product A, the trial product A, then they're going to make a process. Then after that, they check out, hey, then which one? They say product A, product B, product C. Then which the performance is getting better, then they will choose accordingly. Because sometimes I never maintain the document, never kept properly the methods, how you do. Then later the customer is okay, then you need to redo again. So there's a timing consume, and maybe cannot get back. The repeatability cannot get. So that's why all the your inputs, everything is important. They need to check for the statutory regulatory recommends. I will check for the standards, code of practice that organization has been committed to be implemented. Then you have to see for potential consequences of failure due to nature of the products and services. This also to consider. The inputs will be adequate for design and development purposes, complete and unambiguous. Conflicting design development inputs will be resolved. The organization has a retain documented information. So whatever you done, so you must be maintained. So design and development controls, same thing. So result to be achieved, defined, reviews contacted, evaluate ability, results of design and development to meet recommends, and verification activities are conducted to ensure the design and development outputs meet the inputs recommend. Your validation activities are conducted to ensure the resulting products and services meet the recommend for specified application or intended purpose, intended use. Our necessary actions are taken and problems determined during the reviews and verification and validation activities. Wherever you go, so document the information of these activities at the time. So all must be keep it. That's why I say is only two things. Whatever you do, writing written procedure, and when you do, then after do accordingly. So these outputs. So you have to check the design, development outputs, meet the input recommends, adequate for subsequent process, provision of products and service, and include reference, monitoring, measuring the recommends. Your appropriate and acceptance criteria. Specify the characteristics of the products and services that are essential for intended purpose and safe proper provisions. Same thing, yeah. So the organization shall document information, everything, input, design, review, everything. So you need to maintain. So design changes, development changes, also same thing. You need to identify, review, control the changes during and subsequent to the design and development, products and services to extend the necessary to ensure there is no adverse impact on the conformity to the recommends. The organization shall retain documented information, development changes, result of reviews, authorization changes, action to taken prevent adverse impact. So control of external providing products and services. So what is external provided? So same like subcontractors, right? So there was a servicing measurement, instrument measuring suppliers, vendors, all those things. So specific recommend for control of external provider products and services. When products and services are provided by the external provider for the incorporation into organization, provided directly to the customer by external providers. A part of process is external providers. Maybe some they do, or some maybe get engaged with other subcontractors, or maybe others. Then you need to establish a process to evaluation, selection, monitoring of performance, and re-evaluation of the external providers. You must retain the document information. So how we can be done this one? So same, you engage a subcon. So you need to ask, you need to select the guy is his expertise. So is it really the guy can perform the job? Let's say this guy, if we awarded to them, this guy cannot able to meet. So what is your target? What is your deadline? Now, what is the scope of work of the external providers? So this also clearly must be maintain the documented information, right? So that's why everywhere go. So your documented information is there. Okay, so type and extent of control of external provision. Ensure the external provider process remain within the control, right? Ensure the effectiveness of the control, which contribute the meet customer satisfaction and applicable statutory regulatory recommends. Ensure that externally provided process products services meet the recommend. So when you're going to engage, so you need to see the purpose and recommend, right? So based on the, are they going to meet? Are they going to meet the applicable statutory? So all those things. So this everything need to be monitored accordingly. According what is your intended results? I mean, what you want to deliver. Based on this, all the things must be aligned with this. Okay, information for external providers. So the organization shall ensure adequacy of the recommends prior to the communication to the external providers. The organization shall communicate to external providers and recommend for process and products and services provided. Then you need to approval and release of products and services. You need to check the competency of the person performing the task. You need to interaction with the organization. You need to control and monitor the external provider performance. You need to do a verification, validation of activities performed at the external provider premises. So these are things need to be for the external provider. Same like your construction, let's say do a precast panel, PP, precast bathroom, you need those things. Because this one we engage outside external providers. Then they will normally they will engage, they go for audit, verify the process and what are the materials, what are the processes they carry out, so they can able to go. Because one of the recommend when you are running, so we provided externally customers, so you need to show the proof how the guy performing effectively or correctly. So what's auditing, uh, any auditing reports, anything auditing contractors, so those things they verify. So control of production and service provision. The organization shall manage production operation process to ensure conforming products, servicing through products and services through, ensure the availability of documented information to define and characteristic products and services, a result to be achieved. Ensure the availability of the monitoring and measurement resources. So how are you going to measure? So what are the methods? So how are you going to be, what are the resources needed? All ensure to be considered. Ensure the implementation of the monitoring and measurement to verify the criteria, right? So when you have to do the process, how are you going to verify, right, the criteria, whether it's carry out according to the procedure, what is the intended results. So all those things we can verify. Ensure the use of suitable resources, right? So you check out what are the resources you need. You need a man, you need the material, right? You need the methods. So all those things is the resources. Appoint of the competent person also is important. So you must use the right people for the right job. Ensure the validation and revalidation process. Your implementation of the action to prevent human errors. So how are you going to carry out? Human maybe it's normally able to make a mistake. Implementation of the release and delivery, post-delivery activities. Okay, so the next item is production and services. Your identification or traceabilities. So you identify the product by suitable means. So how are you going to, because your company may produce a variety of products. So how are you going to identify, or maybe not to mix, maybe some products may similar. So you need to the product identification. So you need to monitoring the measurement status as well. You need to control unique identification and maintain the records if required. So that's why your labeling, documentation, so all is very important to the organizations. Identification and traceability. Okay, the next 5.3 is property belonging to customers or external providers. Okay, so this can be exercised care with property belonging to the customers or external providers. Need to identify, verify, protect, and safeguard the customer property. Because some they loan you, maybe they carry out the thing, you need to take care of the product and properties. Then you have to report to customer, external providers, and maintain the records if the loss or damage are unsuitable for the use and retain documented information. So this also need to be maintained. Okay, so next is the preservation. The organization shall preserve outputs during the production and services provision to extend the necessary to ensure conformity to the requirements. So what is the meaning of conformity? Yeah? Conformity and compliance. Non-compliance and non-conformity. What is the difference? Anyone?
Conformity means that follow the procedure lah.
Okay. Compliance, non-compliance.
Compliance. That one is more to the law.
Yes. So this law, we said the one you cannot say I cannot follow, maybe later follow, cannot. This one you follow means you follow. That means follow A, B, C, then you will follow A, B, C. That's called compliance. But conformity, non-conformity also is something like similar, but the impact, that means you follow the standard, this follow the customer spec. I mean, this can be very, maybe there's a tolerance will be there. But in compliance wise, there is no tolerance. Let's say you need to provide via the mask. So is there any tolerance? Can I put the mask down, mask up, or maybe I wear only few time only? There's no such thing. So this one straightforward. You must comply means you comply. But conformities, yeah, maybe there's of course to comply also, but there was some, if you follow based on the spec, your customer recommend, then you good to go. Also, it's against the standards and others. Okay, so ensure the recommends, this including identification, handling, and contamination controls, packaging, storage, transmission, and transportation and protections. Then the next thing look at post-delivery activities. The organization delivery, that means statutory, regulatory recommends, and potential undesired consequences. Then you have to check up for nature and use intended lifetimes. Your customer compliance, customer feedbacks. So it's not only I just deliver, give to the product, is over. So you need to still maintain, because this one, yeah, when you give the delivery a contract, sales contract, so when they come out, so if anything complaint, they will come back, faulty those things, they will replace. That's called a give warranty and guarantee. Yeah. So those things we need to post delivery activities need to maintain as well for products and services. Okay, any changes? You need to review and control changes of production service provision. This is to ensure the continuing conformity with the recommend. Okay, you need to retain documented information as evidence. Examples, meeting records, review records, person committee in charge, and action plans. So those things you need to changes, because some if you know recommend, I mean documented those things, then maybe the customer they turn back. So this is important. Any changes, any design, input, whatever it is, all must have a document information, evidence. Either can be email or whatever it is. Go. Okay, so next item is release of products and services. The organization shall implement the plan or arrangements as appropriate stages to verify the conformity with the requirements. Then release shall not be proceed until the arrangements or verification have been completed, unless otherwise approved by the relevant authority applicable by the customers. So those things for release and production service. So same thing, use retain documented informations as evidence to support conformity with the acceptance criteria, and they need to have a traceability to release authorizing the personnel who can release a product. So if let's say something goes wrong, then who will answer? So no person to check, then they will who to blame. And how to track out all those things. So this you must assign a authorized personnel. Control of non-conforming process outputs, products and services. The organization shall ensure that outputs that do not conform to their requirements are identified and controlled to prevent their unintended use of a delivery. The organization shall take appropriate action based on the nature of the conformity, non-conformity, and its effect on the conformity of the products, services, including after delivery of products, during or after provision of services. So this also need to controlling process need to be done. Then dealing with non-conforming output, the organization shall consider correction, or they can go for segregation, containment, or return or suspension of provision of products and services. Informing the customer. And with obtaining the authorization or acceptance under concession, you make a conformity to the recommends shall be verified after corrective actions. Okay, some you cannot make it because this one common may occur. There's various factors affecting it. So maybe this properly to inform the customers, all those things need to be done. Okay, so shall retain document information. That means you must describe non-conformities. You describe what action is taken for the non-conformities. Then if any concession of time, because some process carry out, maybe they replace products. Identify the authority deciding action on the respect of non-conformities. So how they're going to make a decision to go. Because some the contract mentioned once I deliver, so in process you check. So it's not they can return back, but once you open everything accepted, then they cannot return back. So that means it's non-returnable once you deliver. Okay, so these are the things. The next one is operation planning and control, then emergency preparedness and responses. Let me check how many things to go. Okay, so 2 items. So operational planning and control. The organization shall establish, implement, control, and maintain the process needed to meet the EMS recommend. That means implement the action identified by you are establishing your operating criteria for the processes. You are implementing control of process accordance with the operating criteria. The controls can be implemented following the hierarchy of control. So the hierarchy of control can be a there's a risk control measure there. Your elimination, your substitution, engineering control measures, and administrative control, PPE, those things. This is related to the risk management. So this is also applicable to the your process as well, QMS as well. So the organization shall control plan changes and review the consequences, unintended changes, taking action to mitigate any adverse effects as necessary. The organization shall ensure the outsource process are controlled or influence. Also need to be to ensure. Okay, consistent with the life cycle perspectives. Organizations shall establish controls as appropriate to ensure these environmental recommends addressed in the design and development process for the products or service, considering each life cycle stage. So as we see is a life cycle assessment LCA. So same thing. So whatever your product, your process is going to carry out. So try to minimize the impact of the environmentals and pollutions and issues. Right? Determine is environmental recommend, procurement products and services. Your communicates is relevant environmental recommends to external providers, including contractors. So consider the need to provide information about potential significant environmental impacts. So all organizations shall maintain the documented information. So emergency preparedness and response. So this applicable to the EMS as well. So this emergency preparedness is not applicable to the QMS because there's no emergency going to be in the process and products. Mostly maybe the product is non-conformities, maybe wrong product or damaged product, those things. So it is not going to be emergency situation, let's say to environmental or personal, it's not going to be. Either they're going to last, gain or profit, no profit, it's losses, that's only. So this applicable emergency preparedness within EMS and safety managers. I mean, 45,000. Okay, so this organization shall establish, implement, maintain the process needed to prepare and respond to potential emergency situations. Prepare to respond by planning action to prevent or mitigate adverse environmental impacts from the emergency situations. So environmental impact can be, let's say, your air emission, loss of maybe release silt water discharge heavily to the river, those things. So these are the thing environmental impacts that they happen. Then how are you going to respond to actual emergency situations? Even you see previously a lot in Bhopal, I think there was a chemical gas leak to the environment. So a lot of people suffer, a lot of people die. So how are you going to respond to the emergencies, right? So you need to have an emergency preparedness plan. So how are you going to deal with this and how are you going to detect in case of leak? So a lot of the procedure need to make. To take action to prevent or mitigate the consequences of emergency situations and appropriate to magnitude, the emergency and the potential environmental impact. So also need to take. Then you periodically test the planned response actions and where practical. Because some of the emergency, they do emergency drill, right? So they test it out maybe every 6 months, right? Even your building, general buildings, they will do a fire drills. So, right, so they would test it out whether how the people reacting to that in case of real situation, so they can act. So it's kind of pre-training to be done. So periodically review and revise the process or processes, plan and response actions will be done. You provide relevant information and training related to the emergency preparedness response as appropriate to relevant interested parties, including persons working under the control. So those things need to be checked out this. Okay, example of emergencies. The toxic gas leak, chemical leak, your failure of pollution control equipment, and total power failures, and major fraud. So these are the things emergency occurred. So now emergency is coronavirus, right? So we're all dealing with controlling this on that. Okay, so class 9 is performance evaluation. Maybe it's a time now is 7:40. So you all want to take a break?
We go
Yes.
dinner first.
Say again. So too
Yes.
much.
Go for dinner first.
Yeah, that's why we got too much here also. Okay,
A bit
so
hungry.
yeah, understand. Okay, so how long you want a break?
Half an hour.
Everyone okay?
Yes.
Half an hour. I need
Okay.
more. Ken.
Around 45
Yep,
minutes.
okay.
Ken, we go for
45 minutes. All right.
45 minutes. Now
40, 8:30.
40, right? 8:30 lah. Ken?
Okay.
Ken?
Yeah.
Thank you.
8:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you all.
Yeah, thank you. See you. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay, I leave you on the line. Yeah. Okay. So some of the checklists for 9001. Even for the conformities, evidence, they make like graphical, but this is a high standard lah, to trigger the system to capture. Even your summary, they go for graphmatic as well. Okay, so some kind of a templates. Okay, I can show you some of the.
That's a standard checklist or
And there is a
just
standard
clear?
checklist. The checklist is there.
So whenever we are internal audit, we can use that, is it?
Checklist, yeah.
Okay.
Even you have yes, some have based on the classes. This one can If every individual, this internal audit procedure you must have. So what are the checklist? I will show you some real one, real auditing I've done before. I'll share with you. So these are the audit. Then okay, see these some of the.
Just now checklist will be shared to us as well, is it?
You mean the checklist, is it?
Standard checklist, yes.
Some checklist I give you. Yeah.
Sure.
I will give it to you some of the samples lah. So you that you can use for to develop also.
Yeah.
If it is not in place lah.
Yep.
Okay, so these some of the SWOT analyst template. Okay, then okay, you're asking about the risk opportunity, right?
Yes, yes.
I will share with you. So this one every department also have, right? Admin, accounting, quality control. But some applicable, some, but you know the concept lah, how to do it.
Yeah, as long as concept is okay,
Yeah,
to be able to follow the rest as well.
Correct. If let's say look out, is a top management, what's the issue may arise? Right, subject and issues. And identify date, risk level. This all is a risk and opportunity because the risk is a negative. Your opportunity is a positive. Right?
Okay.
Then what is a significant? Then what's a control measure? Let's say positive. What is your action plan? Then who will be responsible? They are going to monitor. Same lah, they won't go for 1H5W, right? So I think this basic concept will come. Then your fire method. It will wherever you go, this few item 1D, I mean the your 2D, if you don't know, don't understand so thing. Then your triple E, engineering, education, enforcement. What we discussed in the first day, right? So every place it will come, the concept will come. Right? So quality control, your accounts, operation, your HSC department, your procurement, your design. So there's a lot of thing is there. If something goes wrong, what are you going to do? So what is your backup plan? What is your contingency? So those things will come up. So there's a no, I mean, if they you see, look out the standard, they never mention, no, the guidelines. This one, how you create, how you have to maintain it lah. So those things go. Okay, so this one I share with you all later. So you may review go through. There was some, these are our checklist. If let's say go to like a IT industry, though digitalization, so a lot of make, but this one they know not how you manage because some the small and medium company you cannot be adapt those things lah. You make it, that's why it's a documented meme. As long as you can able to show the evidence, then it's good to go. There is a no right or wrong. So some I have a procedure like 500 pages. It's not necessary. So let's say within 100 pages or 100 words, we can able to run because some may not applicable all, some your critical process only. So as long as able to comply with your classes, it's good to go. Right? Okay. Yeah, there was correct. This is what I just now share. Okay, maybe we can topic 8 we complete. So we go for the topic 9. So performance evaluation. So this under monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation. Then internal audit and management review. So in the monitoring measurement, so what I'm going to do is organization shall determine what needs to be monitored and measured and what method going to use and when monitoring and measuring shall perform. Then what is the criteria to evaluate environmental performance or appropriate indicators, EMS. And when the result of monitoring measurements shall be analyzed and evaluated. Then this all shall retain documented information. So you see all 5W will come in, right? 5W and how. So all the process also will come. Okay, EMS organization shall ensure the calibrated and verify monitoring and measurement equipment is used and maintained as appropriate. Because if let's say going to measuring anything, so must be calibrated, and you must have a maintenance those things verify. So it's how you're going to measure, is it correct? Correct methods, correct standards. So those things. Then you communicate relevant environmental performance informations, both internationally and externally, as identify its communication process as required by its compliance obligations. So this one of the recommend. Okay, then customer satisfaction. For organizations shall determine and implement method to monitor information relating to the customer satisfaction or perception. Examples of monitoring customer perception can include the customer service, customer feedback, or deliver products and services, meeting with the customers, and market share analysis, compliments, warranty claims, and dealer reports. So based on this, you can able to show your customer satisfaction. So this will be varies based on the products and services. So these are the things to be to monitor as well. Okay, evaluation of the compliance for EMS. The organization shall establish, implement, maintain the process needed to evaluate, fulfillment of its compliance obligations. The organization shall determine the frequency that compliance will evaluate it and evaluate the compliance and take actions if needed. Then you have to maintain the knowledge and understanding of its compliance status. So organizations shall retain documented information. So these are things need to be, there's a legal register. Nowadays is a new legal compliance is our COVID control measures, right? Wearing a mask, wearing a distance, maintain the distance, work from home. So a lot of things that are stipulated. So we got to follow accordingly. So this one, that's why BCA, MOM all visiting along the premises. Do your office all anybody come from MOM and BCA?
Yes, almost every week.
Every week.
Yeah,
Officers also they come.
yeah.
Oh,
We just want to make sure that we follow the, really follow the precaution procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it come for the workers, workers, what do you call that? We are staying down there, right? Checking on the office as well.
Office, yeah. They maintain distance.
Office check on their trace, the trace together.
Yeah. Just for the
and
COVID
also,
one.
yeah. For COVID more
Yeah.
on COVID.
So they also, yeah, worry. So all even you I working in construction site. So I'm the SMO, site management officer. So that's they come. Previously, yeah, every week they come. Nowadays, I think 14 days. It depends. Your site is in place. Maybe they are reduce frequency of visit lah. So some
But
is
it's
not.
very funny, like using the sanitizer, because all these workers, if you put there, today you put, tomorrow missing already.
Wow.
So,
someone take out.
So we just drama only. When the officer come, we show. After that, we keep.
Oh, so nobody, okay. They
Yeah.
suspense. But some, yeah, the precaution, but most of them, but we sometimes using your sanitizer, but some the skin sensitive, ma. So sometimes use you there and then the skin allergy. Also issue lah. But anyway, no choice. We have to comply and go lah. So how we manage and go. Okay, so this one of the evaluation of the compliance. Okay, analysis and evaluation of QMS. Analyze, evaluate the data, information arising from monitoring and measurements. The result of analysis shall be used to evaluate the conformity of the products and services. Then you need to measure the degree of customer satisfaction. Then you go to performance and effectiveness of the QMS. So this also to be analyzed. Then you go to check effectiveness of implementation. effectiveness action to take and address the risk and opportunities. And you will do the performance of external providers, your subcontractors, vendors, right? So measuring laboratories, those things. So you need to check as well. Then you check for any need for improvement to enhance your product and services. Okay, so next item will be internal audit. So you must contact a plan interval to confirm organization own management system recommends the ISO standards, ensure is effectively implemented and maintained. The procedure is not compulsory, right? So because last time they mentioned how to do all those things, but this one can be audit, how to verify they can be done. So that means the thing is you need to make audit programs, you need to make audit scope and criteria. You have to select auditors and then contact our internal audit. Then ensure the results reported to top management. They need to take corrective actions, correction and corrective actions, and record keeping. So you compare to last time, there was a, they say car and par, right?
Yes.
CAPA lah.
Yeah.
But now they may say PA. So one is correction, other one is corrective actions.
Oh.
So they take out the preventive action. That means the
Oh.
corrective action is become a preventive action.
I see.
So
By
the
the way,
correction
number D procedure is not
also
compulsory.
not
What
compulsory.
does it mean?
So that means you no need to have how you going to contact, where to contact all, because sometimes you get varies. It's same like now manual also not compulsory.
Is it?
So last time you manual need to have.
Last time manual and the procedure, every item must cover.
Must recover, must be linked, must be updated.
Yes, must be linked.
Because if let's say you manual say you are linked with all the procedures, then you some procedure change, then you change revise with the manual as well.
Yes.
But now no
not
need.
necessary.
You let's say because you make it separate, because some you make your procedure separate one. You overall say because you can be subjected. They mean last time they say is a one more the differentiate. Last time they call is compliance. That mean they will say, okay, in order to comply your safety, so they call is you follow 1, 2, 3 or maybe ABCD. But now they won't say ABCD. They say reasonably practicable measures.
I see. Yeah.
So this is a big word. You cannot say what is reasonably practicable because ABC, okay, I comply. You say ABC, I follow ABC, I show you. You cannot fault me. But now, because why they come out with this, some may not be because you regulate that there's other factors, other residual risks may arise. This also you take a responsibility to control over, mitigate over. That's why leave it to you. That's why I say some of the concepts also I advise them. It is my job is not to tell you what to do. I will tell you what not to do. So from that you choose what to do.
Okay. But by the way, just go back to this procedure. Last time all manual was manual, procedure, and forms, three types. Okay. Now my experience, the company asked this consultant to write up. He just write out overall everything. So because I used to be oral method. Okay. So I asked him, what is the procedure? What is the form? What is the length? I asked a question, then he put it back. So meaning say that not necessary to be procedural form, all this not necessary to be length, is it?
Not depending.
I see.
So if you want to, that's why they make it it's called is make it easy lah. So a lot of things to be they put it up. It's same like if we compare to safety, there's make it if let's say books, some subject is not is maybe need to be revised. You no need to totally the book all to revise the version, those things, only the particular subjects.
I see.
The portion, then okay, you're good to go. So there's a revision. So that's make it easy to everyone and not make it complicated.
Mhm.
But if you want to already you measure for want to put up, no problem. Because if you go to some is good and bad, but some they change themselves without knowing because is now there's no mandatory for management representative also.
Oh, okay.
If you manage, if any document must be revised, those things, you need to go to the MR. The MR will be top management, either
Yes.
director or GM. So that means every process must know. But in sense is good, but we can monitor in some. I mean, when you look out the paperwise, there's a taking time. There's a productivity also is concerned. In order to change, come out, then going. Okay, let's say you, the HOD of the department is ECC, in necessary, hey, I'm going to change this. It's okay. Give the empower to them, let them make. But they will base on the output of your process.
I see.
So is in order to match can make it, then it's good to go. That's why I say it's documented information. As long as you show the evidence, you're doing so, but there should be a version controller. You change version 1, version 2, you go for it. As long as you manage, you can able to show, should be okay.
Okay.
So that
So
relaxation.
for example, you just take out some portion that you amended. So version 1 should be the whole system or only the portion of that. How you want to name it?
You can portion of it, not necessary. But if you written in such a way, you can some classes you can put it up, maybe write the whole, let's say you write in the manual. You write the manual, everything, any procedure change need to link to these message approval, those things. But if let's say now you go to compare to this, you can write a sentence saying that, okay, this one, if is not mandatory, is optional. If you want to link back to this, is based on the your criteria, I mean the critical process. But some you want it to control, you can make no issue. It's like reporting procedures. Anything want change, you must let me know. Or maybe no need to have a approval. You say you can acknowledgement.
So document change request needed or no need?
Depends.
If let's say, for example, you change something totally different from adding or extra, so all copy
must
does
you
not appear
obsoleted, yeah.
Obsolete.
You can still, if you want to maintain your old one, so there's never say you cannot, you need to, so but there's options you can relax, I mean to make it easy. If you want to keep it maintain old, no issue, we can do it.
I see. Okay.
Similar like now the worker height regulation in safety wise, last time if more than 2 meters, you need to apply PTW.
Okay.
But even go for exam mobiles others, they 1.8 meter. Also need to apply PTW. But the current one, as per worker height regulation, you need to apply permit only more than 3 meter, which is a hazardous worker height. But most all over the Singapore industries, they follow more than 2 meters.
Okay.
So you subject, but sometimes you cannot ask why you 3 meter change up, because I still follow the old one. So up to you, no issue. It's nothing wrong.
That's the things come out reasonable, practicable. Because more than 2 meter walking out high,
correct.
You insisted to wear the what do you call that, harness. 2 meter, how are you going to hook up? If you don't hook up, safety going fine.
Correct.
Your hook up is not reasonable, not practicable.
Correct. So in this is going complicated, you can take also. But even though if you more than 2 meter, you have to wear the harness, it's not safe.
Yes.
Because in order to hook your harness, at least more than 4 meter. That means that from hooking point to at least 6.5 meter, you need to have in order to make the fault clearance distance.
Yes.
But somehow it is working as a restraint system. There's other benefit. That's why they say, hey, there's a no. Because this one is, you need to understand the concept, how you're going to put it up. You want to leave it, can, because the people sometime morning working 2 meter, later afternoon they go for 4 meter. You cannot tell them, hey, now I work 4 meter, and then later they're going to then be only. Is no. That's why you make it, you go work to more than you're working and high, this consider via the safety harness. So something like that. So you can put up. This depends how you want to make it on run. But the concept is whatever you write, follow the procedure. Some is complicated, you take out the procedure, rewrite. Maybe give the optional subject to this.
Okay.
So you can make it, change it, some of the thing, the word, then we can go for it. I clear your thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So this is internal auditing procedures. Okay, so the management review. The top management to review QMS as plan interval. The management review inputs status action from previous management review. Yeah, this one are the number one. The changes of internal and external issues. So this also need to capture. So what will be the internal external issues? You can internal can be resources, your teamworks, what are the resources, those things all will become. External issues, let's say authority compliance, any competitor issues, other process issue, all those things can to be minuted down in management review. Then information on the performance and effectiveness of the QMS. That means your customer satisfaction, feedback, extent of quality objectives have been met, and process performance, conformities of products and services, and non-conformities, corrective actions, and monitoring and measurement results. The audit results as well, internal audit results or external audit results, perform of external providers. So these are the things need to be performance to monitor. Then you go to check for adequacy of resources. So is it enough for the current process? Or maybe you can think of a new implement the process. So is it the resources adequate? You can discuss on this as well. Then you go to check for effectiveness of action taken to address risk and opportunities. So this you need to update where and when needed, because your process change or product change, the risk and opportunity may be different. So same like risk assessment. Whenever the new process, those things you have to review and revise. So this also how long you want to determine, so up to the management. You want to review the risk and opportunity maybe yearly, or you want to 2 yearly or 6 monthly also can. So this how management want to do that. Because let's say big organization very fast, so they can set it up, then you put it up, they follow accordingly. Okay, so next opportunity for improvement. So this also you can check it out. So list down and discuss on what are the ways and for the improvement. Okay, then next one is to discuss management review outputs for opportunity for improvement. Are any need changes to the QMS, right? So the current compared to last time 2008 and 15. So this also maybe any revision need to be added, or new process to be added, or any process to be omit. So all you can put it up. So some might go the process very complicated. Okay, I'm going to take it out. Or maybe not take it out, leave it there, but I can give the options. Okay, this one, whatever it is, as long as either show, I mean, is if any changes, you can let them do, but maybe we can review yearly any changes. Not every process change and request go in. So we can give option to do so. So we can go for it also.
Can I share with you? Okay, my system, I want to write more items to be included. So I have many forms and checklists to be followed. If let's say, for example, now we don't have a March project, for example. So out of 20 forms, I only use 3 or 4 forms to make use of it. The rest, I want to keep it for the future. Okay, so just leave it, should not be a problem, right? Because last time I understand, whenever you put out all the forms, should be use it. That's what I understand from last time. Now, does it need to keep it or just leave, take it out if it says we are not use it?
No need. You can keep it up.
You can keep it out, right?
You can keep it because in future you may not know. Maybe this process.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I put out as many as possible, but we are not using for all.
No issue.
No issue, right?
No issue. But you're doing process, but you cannot show any evidence, then it's problem. But I know use, but I have a form, nothing wrong.
I see. Okay, all right.
So no issue. Because same thing, because some system you follow up, but it depends on the customer recommend. Let's say your own management system, but you go to the other company, maybe you are working, take some project. The company want to follow their SMS quality system. You cannot you follow your process, so you have to follow according to that. But you can take some reference from your procedures, so you compact to them. So this one is depends on the way you work and maybe the based on the customer needs. You cannot say I follow my SMS. I mean follow my QMS. I cannot follow my. So you have to comply. Same like we work in a HDB, we work in a LTA. So it's like your risk assessment. You go to LTA, there's a different format.
Yes.
You go to Capel CPR, it's a different format.
Yeah.
Exam mobile, different format. But the concept is risk assessment. Where you're going to go, you're going to identify the hazard and analyze the risk.
Okay.
So how you write, so similar. So how you want to maintain up, it's okay. But you by based on the standard, you must have. But some that's why I say it's a documented evidence. If some equal to that, you can able to show, there is no issue. They cannot be. Yeah.
One question. Last auditor asked for the toolbox meeting. Basically, yeah, what you say, we used to work for the customer main con. They give us the toolbox meeting to fill up. Then they keep it, they don't allow us to bring it back. So when the auditor come ask for the toolbox meeting and all that, they are not allow us to use our toolbox meeting form. They keep it. Then they say, oh, why not you just photocopy from them? But they're not allowed to take from the photocopy as well. This kind of scenario, what should we do?
But if let's say the toolbox meeting, I don't think so. You can take a copy of photo lah. No issue. If let's say some sensitive, they cannot. This no need. As long as you show, is other kind of footage you can show them. But if let's say some, if you go for maybe authority like military camp, those things, they won't allow to they disclose outside. So that's it. You cannot show them because this is a conflict of interest, the official secret.
Yeah.
So some no need. They normally they cannot fault on this. If such a thing, I mean, if straight away cannot based on this, I cannot give NC. I got to do audit trial. So why is what is the big why they cannot produce? Then the reason is judgeable. They cannot issue NC those things. Then okay, maybe look up. Is it possible to take any photos? So it is no, but as long as you show evidence you are contacted, it's nothing wrong. What is documented information? I mean, any proof, evidence based. So it should be okay.
Do you think that we, even though their clients want us to follow their toolbox, we should have our own toolbox meeting to fill out to?
Yeah. No issue now. Even also they can, hey, you must have no such thing. You can tell them to this bank. If it's possible, can take. I mean, they won't need to copy. We take photo, or maybe how they do. We can able to show what as evidence.
Okay.
This one thing can be done. Okay, so the written documented information as evidence for management review can be a meeting minutes. So these are the evidence for that. Okay, the management review shall include consideration the status of actions from previous management reviews and changes in the external issues that are relevant to EMS, need the expectation of interested parties, including compliances and obligations. There's any significant environmental aspects, and there's a risk and opportunities to extend the which environmental objectives have been achieved. So the management review for EMS, information, organization, environmental performance, including the trends, right? So they can non-conformity and corrective actions, monitoring and measurement results, and fulfillment of the compliance obligations and audit results. So you see the compliance obligations will be come from most in EMS and EHS. In the quality management system, they show for conformities and customer satisfaction, those things. But here they will compliances obligations in EMS and safety management system. Then they will check for adequacy of resources and relevant communication from interested parties, including compliance, or even any authority, warning letters, fines, stop work orders, those things. So company all need to maintain. So opportunity for continual improvement. So this also put up in the management review. Okay, the output. So the management review shall include conclusion of the continuing suitability and adequacy and effectiveness of the EMS. Then decision related to the continual improvement opportunities. Decision related to any need for changes to the environmental management system, including resources. So this also they made it out in the management review. Then actions if needed when the environmental objectives have not been achieved, right? So what they're going to do in case you cannot meet the objectives. So this also to be to minute it down as output. Then opportunities to improve integration of the environmental management system with other business if needed. Any implication for strategic direction of the organization. So all shall be documented, written documented information as evidence of the results of the management reviews. So these are things need to be maintained. Okay, so next is a class 10 improvement. So there's a general non-conformity and corrective actions, continual improvements. So organizations shall determine the opportunity for improvement, implement necessary action to achieve intended outcomes for the management system. For QMS, they shall focus in the meeting customer recommend to enhance the customer satisfaction. This can include improving a product and services, including the address features need for expectation. So you are correcting, preventing, and reducing undesired effects, improving the performance and effectiveness of the QMS. So non-conformity and corrective actions, so they can react to conformities. So take action and control and correct, deal with consequences. You need to evaluate need to action to eliminate a causes of NC. So that's why you have to find out the root causes. So you know where it's come from, then easy to identify and give the solutions. Then you have to review, determine the causes, determine if similar non-conformity exists. Then you will take and implement any action needed. Then you have to review, offset done. So you need the effectiveness of the corrective actions. Is it met the what is your intended objectives? Then you go to updates, risk and opportunities, and make necessary changes to the QMS. All written documented FM evidence. So this need to be done. There's a continual improvement to ensure suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness. You need to consider output of analysis and evaluation, management review, and areas of underperformance. So these are things you need to take note of this, right? So when you measure up your performance, your environmental quality, all those things, so you need to take a consider for improvement. Okay, so with this, I think 9,000 and 14,000 we most covered up to 10 elements. I mean 4 to 10. But there's some difference in the 45,000. This one maybe we can see tomorrow. So now about 9, 11. Can you hear me all?
Yes.
Okay, maybe we can check out what are the next. Let me share. I can see some of the items to go.
By the way, our system, I just asked one question.
Yeah,
our
yeah.
system are all in one. Yes, it's now 9,000, 14,000, and 45,000.
Yeah.
But only the auditor cover because environment or at the moment we are the construction company. We don't need it. So yes, system inside we read it now, but the auditor not covered. Then the certificate also not covered. So we can just leave it, no problem, right?
No issue, no issue.
No issue, right?
No issue. So that means some they do. I mean your management system, you're together because okay, there's if you are B1 company or A1 company, so they need 3 systems because for green and gracious, So all need to comply based on this. If you
I see.
45 to 14,000 don't have, you cannot comply green and gracious.
I see. A1
So,
company, is it?
A1, B1, there's even now C2, those things they need is based on
I
BCA
I
criteria.
see. But for our case, just add
You
in
can
for
leave
the
it,
audit, just leave it on.
leave it, no issue. But
Okay.
some, let's say, might not. I know this now I'm going to stop my process, but I only need my current customer only 45,000. So you want to keep it 9,000 staff for all also can, no issue.
Okay.
You want to
But
reduce
from,
cost.
let's say I want to add in, but if we have the construction and also not like the building construction, it's not really related to the environment factor. So if I want to add in also, I don't see any much things to add in. What you can see on that?
You mean for the 14,000?
Yes.
14,000.
Right now we are doing for just the construction. Yes, we do construction line, but we are just only doing for the workshop fabrications, sometimes site installation kinds of things. But if you want to add in for the auditing for the environmental, what are the items that we can add in on that?
If you, because you see, look out the aspect and impact, it is everywhere. If any activity is not only for related to chemicals or those things, even you produce, you have any construction, your land pollution, your air pollution, also is part of your 14,000.
I see. Okay.
So your resources, depletion of resources, also is part of it.
Okay. Okay.
So that means is based what, that's why you the customer, what the customer want. Because nowadays everything is dollar cents.
Yeah.
So when you put this, hey, I spend $100, you earn only $120. But I only spend $50, so I get on the, so you become your profit one. So is it good to have? Is it must to have?
Okay.
So which one you want? But some no, I want to maintain standard. It depends how you want to do it. Is whether is no, I because sometimes they call is the way of doing and they maintain the branding lah. So even maybe it's not, maybe this 1 or 2 years I may not get because I don't do anything. No, so they still continue.
Brand is
Yes,
important.
they want to maintain the image brands. I don't mind to spend. So even say some, hey, I don't know, because there's some they also feel the employee, they retain the employee, some safety office. I don't have a project, never mind. They give to oversee the other job. You take care of this. Also they give. But some, I want to cut costs, never mind. I don't know a job, you go back. When a job, I call you. Then people, they feel like they also not secure in the job. So even some company, they are switch over. Doesn't mean all need to be in this thing. They can, some of the parts, even some, when I work in UNC chemical MNC, so some initially I mean the base lamp, but some I think they are diversify the responsibility. Maybe try to go up so they can maintain because your employee is wealth of the company. Some can how want to deal work with this thing.
Okay.
This will come on leadership.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Hope to that. Any other guys? Mr. Ken, you any? I think he's busy with talking. Muslim. So far,
nothing. So far, okay.
Can okay. So, but I think this one, there's a lot of reading. Like semi is like very readable. Fall asleep those things. But if you are practicing those things, it will be interesting. Like some other thing to go. So it's good to go. So his base is classes. He follow accordingly, able to provide. It's good to go. Can right? So tomorrow we cover the 45,000. So the third day, then we wrap up. Then we do auditing as well the other days. Then if any question you any issues, I can give some samples. Then we can clarify. Then we can call it off the day. Okay. Any feedback? Any suggestion? Anything want to clarify?
No.
So
can you go through, sorry,
Yeah.
go through sample concept of the risk and opportunity that you have done for some sample, what do you call that, for us to understand.
Can. Okay.
How are you going to come up for the one topic? I mean the one set.
Wait, I can share the thing. Okay, so this will be the samples. Yeah. But this is some Israel done one, but some depends how you want to make it lah. But the concept is okay. Look up the classes. I mean the titles. So these are top management. I mean most are same. You see what is the issue, subject issues.
Okay.
And which state you identify, and what is a business risk level risk. Is it negative? So negative will become a risk, and this one is a positive will become opportunity. So okay, significant. You see whether significant or insignificant based on your opportunity and this also negative risk as well. Same how we categorize the risk assessment. So whether high risk, medium risk, and low risk. Then we'll have what the control measures and mitigation strategies. Then the responsible persons and how you're going to monitor strategies. Then what is the evidence to monitor? So based on your plan, so I'm going to see, let's say put the target dates, how long? So go to put up. Then this reference to the manual. Then what is the status?
Okay.
So this is a template. If let's say look up, maybe it's okay, there's opportunity. Okay, so under competition, stay ahead for the competition through the technical and innovation. This when you identify, but there's no negative, I mean the risk, but not much players on the market, similar and kind of products and services. This for your opportunity. Same like currently have a COVID, right? So most of the thing they are sourced out from the other countries, but some they come out, the manufacturing locally. So this I know it depends on. So there's kind of ideas, those things they sourcing out. So this become opportunities.
Yeah.
Then yeah, is it going to be any impact? So that means significant. Then who's the responsible persons? All those things. Even there was a let's say look of negative. Your overall low cost project customer expectation, but there's a less profit, unsafe materials, unsafe machines could be brought to the met this cost, which may create a EHS issue. So this will be significant. Then how are we going to come out? Resources, expenses control through the project and purchases to compare the safety features or benefits as first priority. Unsafe machineries, materials will now be purchased as a safety is first. So that means how are you going to manipulate, I mean to take a control. This call is we have to see in the reasonably practicable measure. So whether you're going to implement your cost, your operation, easy to do. So a lot of things factors. But you will see the productivity. But of course, it's cheaper. But many people need to more put the effort. That means your effort loss, you overall you check out how much going to effort the manpower cost. Then come put this. Same you every day enter your toolbox meeting in the paper, those things. Now digitalize your attendance. Then in order to monitor the perform, I mean the attendance, see those things, right?
Yeah.
The previously every site, then all the admin record everything, send key in the Excel, see compile those things, right? But nowadays no, they have a app. Everybody key in, automatic come. So now you see, look out. There's a lot of manpower cost you cut cost, but of course you need to put up a cost for the app. How much you can? Let's say put 5,000. This is one time. But you look out how many project, how many years going to do. Your
Yeah.
overall cost compared to this, maybe you pay only 10%.
Yeah,
So
I think
we need-
government's funny as well. I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so there's
It's
a fund.
IT. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the things you have to think out opportunities. So you need to study. That's why the government policies and strategies, those things. So there may be changes. So we need to aware of it to do it.
Then the matrix, how are you going to put it on a matrix?
Matrix.
Yeah.
You mean
Is it
the
for something like the RA, you have a matrix as well? Or
correct. So it's similar like array matrix. Let me
can you share that
think
sample?
of the way, because some the whole document all in other computer it was locked. I guess so
see.
many guys they have. I see those search through the matrix. You mean how to carry out the business risk assessment, right?
Yes.
Rather than this one. Yeah, I have some also. Maybe I can. Is a sum we done in? I can show. These are for general one, but there was a business risk.
Oh, almost the same as RA.
Same as RA, but there's factors determine is based on, okay, this one the RA is based on the injury, those things, right? This one they
Yes.
based on the
Business.
number of losses in terms of money. Some there is, it's called, it's a qualitative assessment.
I see.
You have a slide also somewhere. Maybe I can find out.
It doesn't matter. When you
Maybe
find
some
out,
other
just
computer. Yeah, I can show you also.
no problem.
But even here also there was just now see the risk assessment also. You see here this one. So severity and likelihood. So it's not, if it's catastrophic means the losses based on the dollars is more than 10 million, they factor this. Then less than this, they put up. Then it's based on the your losses. Because in quality wise, you is based on the your dollar cents. By environmental, you based on how much, I mean, what the compliances days and others, the number of fines, those things. There's no body because environmental, but some will, but let's say environmental pollution. Is anybody going to affecting the health? Silt water discharge, anybody the health affecting is may not, but maybe the others is loss of maybe it's fines those things. So thus we'll call under calculating in this manner.
But safety 45,000 might be different as well, right?
Yeah, that was different.
Like
you
number
to
5 will be fatality,
risk,
some
correct,
kind of
correct. Risk management. That one we to follow according to risk management regulation. There's some, that's why there's no right or wrong, but there's no wrong. There was one risk management also ISO have. But there is many other factors to analyze. They have a fault tree analysis. They have a HAZOP. Then what if analysis. So there's a lot of factors. But it's some will go applicable, some process only. So they go.
Okay.
I find out maybe tomorrow.
Sure,
Maybe we
no
can
problem.
share.
Okay.
Can. Okay, so any other thing want to clarify? Mr. Ken, are you okay?
Yeah, still okay. It's catching up.
Okay, no issue. So of course you knew, but there's when you practice, develop those things, we can just know lah, no issue.
Okay.
Can Mr. Covin?
Yeah.
Anything you want to bring up?
Nope.
Muslim?
No, nothing.
Can, it's okay. It's good.
Can.
Okay, so it's nothing. So tomorrow, what time you want to meet? Go for same time, 6:30?
Better is 6:30 because
6:30. Because sometimes you come
yeah,
from
6
work,
o'clock,
right?
yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
bit rushing lah.
Okay.
Ken, no issue.
Okay. Okay.
Ken, so if nothing, have a nice day. Good night to all.
Okay.
See you
Good night.
tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.